Hi, my name is Wayne and this is Type Tested. So I have in front of me here today an Adler J4. This particular one made in 1965 based on the serial number, which is located here. Move the carriage to the left, visible from above on the bottom frame just behind the spring barrel. This typewriter, when I received it, had a little bit of a problem. Eventually, after putting it out of the case, I noticed that the carriage wasn't moving. And then found the reason for that was that this, which is the paper stand, had fallen off and had become lodged beneath the carriage. Now with that out, everything goes just fine. Typewriter advances the way it's supposed to, and all the keys appear to work properly. Well, for the most part. Like I said, I haven't cleaned it up yet. So I'm going to look today at putting this back in place. Now, I've already done some initial examination, and it looked like that there must have been a spot weld or something back here, but the telltale dimple that's usually present for a spot weld is not on this one. So I think that must have been a factory error when making it. So it simply didn't hold. Since it's permanent, it's meant to be permanent, I'm just gonna go ahead and super glue the thing back in place as the easiest answer. Now there are a couple of holes here. I could drill some holes in the mating plate and use a couple of pop rivets, but I don't have a rivet gun and I don't really have much experience doing that. So super glue is a nice easy fix. However, to do that, I'm going to need to dig into this in order to get access to be able to put the paper stand back in place. So let me pause for just a minute, turn this thing around, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, now that I have the thing turned around, first thing to do is to start gaining access to it. Now, I'm going to have to take the back cover off to start, so I'll take care of that here. I don't believe I'll have to take the side plates off completely, but I do need to get past the back cover itself. So that slips off here, then it can be taken out and removed. And the next thing I need to do is I need to get this piece out. Now that, let me take this out of the camera stand here real quick. There are a couple of screws. They're hard to see. I'll lift this up so maybe have a better look. They are just there, and one on either side. There is also a spring here for the paper bale, and that is very easy to detach. It's on a little J hook there, and on the side here, it's actually on a little stud. So I can take that off completely. So let's start by pulling this off of that stud back here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers for this. Put this back in the stand. So it's very difficult to get light into here. So I'm going to take this little curved plier here, see if I can't get in here and just pull this thing straight down and off to the side, if I can get a grip on it. There you go. That's now off. Now I need to get these screws up. Hard to see from this angle. Okay, and that just lifts off. The spring so the spring is right here. Now these loops will come off, so you need to be careful if it separates, just like it just did there. Just put it back together, it'll be all right. So it's very easy to put off, very easy to put back on. Just got to make sure it stays together. So lay that aside. So now that I have this off, you can see where it's supposed to go. So there's a little pad here for the protection of the paper stand. So it fits on like that. This little tab goes up through here, and as you release this, that moves out from underneath that here. And as you put this back down, which is kind of hard to do when everything's out of place, that clips into place again and holds it put. So first thing I need to do is I need to clean all this area up, and I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol on a paper towel to do that job. And don't forget to do both surfaces. I want to make sure there's no grease or anything on it. And now, in order to glue this back together, the glue needs to have something to grab onto. So I'm going to take a little bit of coarse emery cloth here and just kind of gently rough this up a bit. I'm going to do the same thing over here, trying not to get it into any of the paint. You don't have to do an extensive job, you just need to put a few little grooves in so that the capillary action of the paint, the adhesive, as it tries to bond on the surface, will have little crevices to go into so it can hold tight. So again, clean them off with the alcohol. We'll set that aside. I have a tube of super glue here that I've been using for a little while. And every time I use this, I need to open it up again. Putting the pin off. Put it back down there. Put the glue just on this surface here. If I can get it to flow. This tube is just about at its end. I should have enough for this job. Now when you're gluing, always put the glue on the surface that you're trying to bind from, not the one you're trying to bind to. So I put it over here, I'm going to get a lot of excess glue, and I don't really want that, because I'm not going to be able to position it properly. So now that I've got that in there, very quickly, I need to put this in place. I need to watch carefully and make sure that I get it in exactly the right spot, because I only get to do this once. Put some pressure on it and let it sit there. And give it about a minute. Make sure that the glue is fully bonded. Make sure it swings free, just while I still have a moment to move it around. Okay. Quickly close up my tube. Clean my pin off again. It's hard to do this for me without getting it on my fingers, but You don't generally have to worry about that. It will usually clean up pretty quickly, and if not, it'll be gone in a couple of days. All right, so now that should be a nice strong bond. So if I do this, goes up, push it down, goes up. Everything works the way it's supposed to. I can easily access this from the outside. Get it to behave correctly. It will extend all the way. It will go back. So, next step is to put this back together, and then I have one more job I need to do. Okay, so now to put this back together, the first thing I need to do is make sure the paper bail is in the right orientation. So it's going to sit in here like this, and it's going to look just like that. So paper bail up here. So I need to hang this onto the little stud there, and it's going to go in like that. So let's put this down in here. Get it on top of the little brackets that it screws onto. Get my two little black screws. Put that back in place. Put that back in place if I can do that without disturbing the camera. Stay on there. So I wouldn't usually work from this direction, except that it's better for the camera. Fine, we'll do this the other way. There we go. That's the one side. Now for the other. Come on. All right. Now, put this little J hook back on. Once I put the, oh great. Okay, so I was having a world of problems with this spring coming off, so I decided to just go ahead and close everything up here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So let's go ahead and put this back in place here. Hang that down and put that over the stud and let it swing free. And I just have to get her to come down. There we go. That was not fun. So, take this. Put it back over that screw. Put it over to the side where it belongs. There we go. And that works the way it's supposed to. Now, So you can see again there how it's put in place. So now I just got to put the back cover on. Shouldn't be terribly difficult. So I have to get everything lined up properly. Start with this side. Actually, let me start with this side. So I'm right-handed, it's the easiest one for me to work with. It feels like it's cross-threading. There we go. Same thing over here. Right, everything's back together. Give that another test. Comes out, goes down, latches. Everything's just fine. So the other job I needed to do on this was I noticed that when I was typing that the ribbon lift, especially if I was in red and typing in caps, would tend to get jammed as the shift came back up. And I realized the reason for that is that the ribbon is not installed correctly. So let me go ahead and address that. So the usual thing, switch down to red, jam a couple keys up to lift the type guide or the ribbon lifter. So you notice here that's passing on the outside of this, and then over the inside, and then behind the type guide. That's not correct. So whoever last threaded this didn't understand how this is supposed to work. So let me get that out. It needs to go behind the ribbon lifter and then hook into it. Like so. And I also noticed that it's technically not threaded correctly through the ribbon reverse. So you can see right here that it's going around the first one and then in front of the second one. It really should go just around the first one as I look at it. So if I do this here on the other side too, and straighten everything out. And if I hold, as the ribbon moves, you'll notice that if the other spool isn't moving, that the tension will bring the ribbon reverse arm over. Now, as I said, if this were on the other direction, you see that that doesn't actually move. So feed it on correctly, and you now have the working tension reverse. So on this spool, feeding clockwise in between the two reversing arms, leaving the outside one behind the inside one in front, over the outside of the ribbon guide, behind the inside, over the outside here, behind the front, the left prong here, in front of the back, and feeding in clockwise. Then when it reverses, of course, it just feeds the other direction. Anyway, so that now, the functioning typewriter with the ribbon no longer getting caught behind the type guide when you come down, typing shifted in red. So, there we have it. One nice Adler J4 typewriter from 1965. As far as I can tell, fully working except for the cleanup. Once again, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested.